James is going to play in G League tomorrow night. I don't know. Have we announced anything? Yeah. So he'll be down in LA tomorrow night playing, and then nothing beyond that.
Twitter pause. It's staggering that it's been 1,005 days since you've had Draymond and Steph and Clay. Hat tip to Raymond Ritter for that one. And we know it's not fully back to normal because Draymond will be on a minutes restriction. But how do you think having him back will start to impact things, especially now that you're in a stretch run?
Well, Draymond brings so much to the table. Our defense will improve immediately, as will our alertness, focus, just his ability to get everybody organized on the floor, get everybody prepared for situations. It's hard to quantify how much that's worth, but, and then obviously he'll handle the ball quite a bit. So our offense will look a little different than it has over the last 30 games, and it may take a little bit of time to adapt to that. But because he's been with us for so long and he's played so many games with all those guys, it shouldn't take too long.
Knowing the kind of competitor that he is and how much he wants to make an impact, do you have to ask him to put on the brakes a little bit? I know he's going to want to do so much.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he'll be on a minutes restriction tonight, around 20 minutes or so. And so we just want to make sure he gets his feet wet and has a good run. And it's only natural for him to be really excited and anxious going into the game, and that's fine. But part of tonight is just, getting the cobwebs off and shaking off the nerves and going out there and playing and feeling it again.
Is Andrew Wiggins playing tonight?
No, Andrew's out. He's sick.
Who's going to start?
Jordan and Jonathan will start with Clay, Steph, and Loon. Draymond is not starting. Yeah.
Was Draymond perceptive, or how did he take not starting?
Well, we discussed it. So because of the minutes restriction, it's hard. We found this with Clay. We found this with Otto. It's really hard to start a guy on a minutes restriction and get him into some of the meaningful parts of the game. So this is very temporary, probably just a couple of games for Draymond, and then he'll be back in the starting lineup. But it's all based on minutes, and so that he can play, close the game, close the half, that sort of thing.
Kind of following up on that, this morning he was saying how in the past he's been very against having any kind of minute restriction. He said he usually gets into little jars with you and Rick about these things, but he was supportive of it. And assistants, I guess, assuming you kind of felt that from the conversation that you had, that he's very understanding just about the restrictions.
Yeah. I mean, we just have to be smart. He's been out for a while now, and he understands. So the smart thing to do is to build him back up, and that's what we'll do.
Are you going to want to try to keep him with Steph as much as possible?
Not necessarily. Tonight's really about getting him his minutes and his flow, and I'm not too concerned with him playing with Steph or without Steph. It'll probably be a combination.
You mentioned the Steph Clay pool combination even before you moved it into the starting lineup and the plus minus. Are there just segments in the game that you've decided that those three are going to be together? Is it as detailed as that, or just I want to play them more?
I think it's really hard to figure out what the rotation is going to be right now, given Draymond's return, given the minutes restriction on him, Otto's return, Gary and Andre's impending return. We have so many guys who can play and who can contribute. So it's really tricky to try to plan ahead. We're just kind of taking it a day at a time and figuring out what's what for the next game.
Steve, is there an ideal amount of time for Andre to get back and be ready in regular season and be ready for the postseason? number of games, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know if there's an ideal number of games, but definitely, you want him to feel the game, get into a rhythm, get some shots. What is that number? Probably more than 5. It's hard to put a figure on it. The tricky part is just where Andre is in his career right now, and what's happened over the course of the season. He's gotten banged up a couple of times, and we just don't want to bring him back too early and have him get re-injured. And we want to do everything possible to have him healthy going into the playoffs. So that's what the training staff is thinking about every day. All right, thanks.